Hi, this is Mahesh Ravi, and in this video, we're going to take a look at how to create a portfolio website for a designer using Wix Studio. Let's dive straight into it. So we are in Wix Studio right now, and this is not an intro to Wix Studio. There is a video that I've already created, which actually introduces you to the whole features of Wix Studio. We are going to create a website, a portfolio website using Wix Studio. So we're going to talk only about the things that we really need while building a portfolio. So this is the homepage of Wix Studio. So homepage of Wix. So when you click create a new site, you're going to get two options here. Actually, there are three options right now. Okay, so take a look at that. How would you like to start creating? So you can create it from a blank canvas. So if you are a designer, I would recommend this is the right way to do it. You can start from a template, but I wouldn't recommend that if you're a designer because people know when they see a template, right? So when you're creating a portfolio, design a portfolio using a template that is there in Wix Studio and you're just modifying the elements, they will easily understand. Whoever is looking at your portfolio will understand that you're not confident as a designer. So I wouldn't recommend starting from a template. There is another thing that you can do. You can create a sitemap, a quick structure using AI. Again, I wouldn't recommend this at this point. You can also do it with a more raw version of the Wix Studio, which is called the Wix Editor, if you want to do it, in the old school way. But, it doesn't have to be that. You can start from a blank canvas in Wix Studio. So let's start with a blank canvas. So definitely when you're creating a portfolio site, before you do any of these things, before you come into Wix Studio, you need to have a proper plan, right? There is a whole web design process flow that I have created in my YouTube channel. So if you search for web design process flow, you'll find out everything. Our focus is going to be designing, but I'm going to just quickly show you what needs to be done before you reach that stage. So you are trying to build a portfolio website. So you need to sort of think about who is your target audience here. That's the first step, right? Who are going to see your portfolio. So you will be, if you're a budding designer, if you're starting your career journey, your portfolio will be viewed by a lot of employers, right? So they will be looking for a particular set of things in your portfolio. If you're an established freelancer, future clients will be looking at it and they want to see more of your work and things like that. So we need to understand that mindset. Again, I'm not going to go deeper into it, but the first thing that you need to actually set here is a sitemap, right? What needs to be in your portfolio? So for instance, I'm going to say that my portfolio website need to have a total of say 4 pages, right? So my portfolio need to have a home page that where people can go to and they will land on that particular page, which is the home page. Then maybe from the home page they can actually go to see my projects. Could be they can reach out to me. They can also know a little more about me, right? So let's say this is what you need basically, and projects might have one more page inside, maybe showing a gallery, uh, like individual project page or something like that. Let's say we'll call it the project page, right? So each project can have a separate project page. So now that we have figured out, we know that, okay, this is going to be the home page. From the home page, there are these three sub pages to that home page. And project page will have one more sub page called the project page, right? So this is called a sitemap. It's a very, very raw version of a sitemap. So once you have done this, the next stage is you have to think about the navigation, like how will people go from the home page to the project page, contact us, and about all of those. So this particular thing is called a user flow. All right, you have to create a user flow. For instance, you are going to sort of write it like this. So my home page will basically have three buttons right now. So these are going to be buttons which actually says projects. Uh, they will have a button called contact me, and they will have a button called about me. So if they click on this, right, if they click on the project page, project button, they're going to go to the projects. This is going to be a page, a gallery page, right? A gallery of all the projects will they be able to see. Now in that, they will be able to click a thumbnail of any project. In the gallery, they will be able to click a thumbnail And if they click on the thumbnail of a project, it'll go to the project page, that particular project's page, right? So this is how they navigate, right? For instance, so when you're drawing a user flow diagram, these shapes are very important, right? So this is a process, so it needs to be represented by a box. Now these are buttons, right, which basically are decisions. So this needs to be represented by something like this, a diamond shape. I'm not going to teach how to actually create user flow diagrams here, so I'm going to just briefly do this. So from home, they can click on, the user can click on this button and they will, go to the gallery page. So this is a page again, so that is going to be a box, right? These arrows are very important. They will reach the gallery page and they can make a decision here, which is they can click on the thumbnail. This is again going to be the decision. And if they go to the project page, it is going to be a page, right? So again, a very raw, rough form of a user flow. Now from the project page, what if they want to come back, right? So we need to mention that as well. So in the project page, if they are stuck in the project page, they can click on the back button, right? And they can come back, right, to anywhere they want. So this is also a decision that they can make. And if they click on it, it will come back maybe to the home page, right? So again, a very raw form of a user flow. So we made a sitemap to make sure that how many pages we are going to have, and we created a user flow diagram so that how many buttons and where are the buttons in each page, how many buttons will be there, so that the navigation for the viewer is really easy. So once we have done all of these things, that is when you actually go to Wix Studio to build your site. I just wanted to give you that idea. So after this, you can even make a wireframe. Maybe if you want, you can think of it like, okay, I'm going to make a home screen like this. I'm going to make my title come up here. I'll just put an image in the background. I'll put the buttons maybe on top here, right? So this is called a wireframe. Again, very, very rough, right? I just wanted to quickly give you that idea. Now, let's jump on to our main content, right? So we are in Wix Studio right now. We have done everything. We know how many pages we want. We know how many buttons we want. We almost know how we want the layout to look like. So now you're ready to build your portfolio website in Wix. So we are here right now. And you can see that this is the interface. The toolbar is here. You can view it in different devices. You have the width pixels, the zoom value. You have options to upgrade your plan. And finally, you can preview this and publish it, right? This is all you have to know right now. And you can see if you look at this website workspace that you have right now, you have three sections in this. One is called the header. This is called a header area. So when you click on it, this side inspector will pop up and will say that this is the header, right? Most of the websites will have a header. Most of the older websites will have a header. So the advantage of header is that if you add anything to the header, that will be there in all the pages that you're creating after this, right? So you don't have to add the logo to every page. If you want to maintain that structure, you can just replace this stuff, add things to the, to the header, and that will show up automatically in all the other pages. So we'll maintain this, but we don't want it to be this big. We are just going to reduce it, maybe on the top here. So you can already see that we have a template logo thing, and we have a menu which says only home, because we only have one page here, right? Which you click on this, you will know that you have only one page here, which is called the home page. Just fine. After this header, there is another section. There is nothing inside it. You can add anything into this, right? And there is also a footer, header and footer. Again, footer will be common for every pages that you want. If you don't need the header, right, or footer, you can just select it and hit delete on your keyboard and that will go away. I'm just going to Control Z that. So if you don't want, you can delete that as well. Now let's work on this, right? Let's work on these elements and we'll change this to something that we want. So let's write our name, right? So this is a portfolio website. So I'm going to just use my name here, right now. If you have a logo, you can add it here. You can just drag and drop the logo into this header, but I'm not going to do that. I will just work with the things that I have in here itself. So if you click on an element, this in the inspector window, you can see a couple of things. The first one is the design tab. Second one is the animations and effects. And the third one is the content that you are going to look at. So basically, if you want to write content here, right, if you don't know what to actually put in here, if you search with a business, so let's say design agency, and it's going to recommend the content that is going to be there. So if it is going to be a paragraph or about features, it is going to recommend all the content that you need. Very generic stuff, AI generated stuff. So if you want, you can take that from here. So, but the main things that we are going to use is the design tab and the interactions tab, or the animations and effects tab. So let's go to the design. This is where you actually adjust the look and feel of this. If you come down, you can see that the font that they are using is this. You can change the font to anything that you want. So I'm just change this a little bit. So this is where you can actually take inspirations, right? So I'm just going to go with Space Grotesque, but what I want is I want to change this to all caps, right? So I'm just going to go to capitalization and I'm going to change this to all caps right now. Okay, this looks pretty decent right now. So this next thing that I want need change is this particular vector art. I don't need it. So if I click on change vector art right here, you'll see a lot of vector art. This is where you can upload your logo, right? So what I want is I don't want this logo. I'm just going to delete this piece. So it's just the text that actually appears there. I think that's fine for me right now. Now, the inner part of this, right? This is where you add more content, as I told you. So you can select a couple of things, right? You can select a design section. So if you click on here, you can see a lot of template. If you want to add services, products, or things like that, you can just take it and modify it. We are not going to do that here. I'm going to select a grid layout, right? So let's go to grid layout. You can see a lot of different divisions of grids right here, right? This is something that I want. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a grid, say something like this. Okay, so I divided this into 3 sections and we can work on each section separately right now. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is for this section, I'm going to add a little bit of text, right? So let's collapse this and let's add an element, right? So you can add anything into it. Just select this grid, go to this plus sign, and if you want to go to add a text, just select a paragraph, and that comes in right there. So I just created a paragraph here. Let's type what I want. So I want to write a cross media designer and academician, currently based in Bangalore. Okay, so just random text that I saw somewhere in the internet. I'm just going to take that and use it. So this is what I want, but I don't want this particular font. So let's change this to something a little bigger. And also I'm just going to change the size, right? So 15, I'm going to change this to 30, just double it. Okay, we have something like this. Okay, spacing here. So I'm just going to go down to 1. Cool. This is decent. So if you go here, let's collapse this. So we have 2 elements that we have added right here. So there is this, the logo, and this particular text, right? Now let's add something else into it. So to do that, I just want a very brief amount of text, which is going to be here. So I'm going to select this cell again, and I'm going to split this, right? So you can see split horizontally, split vertically, right? So I'm going to split this vertically. So I have one section here. I'm going to select this again, split this. So I have selected a grid and I've divided that into a section. I want to add a small paragraph here. So I'm just going to go here, add a paragraph to this, right? Just bring it inside this, select it, open this up, and we can change this, right? So I just want it to be 10, very small text here. I'm just gonna bring it somewhat like this. Okay, let's change the, I think everything is okay. The font size also works. I'm just gonna, yeah, so it is sort of like horizontally aligned on the top. So we have that. And what I want to write here is a little more info about me, right? So it's your portfolio, so you don't need anybody's permission to brag. So I'm just going to do that. Okay. So Maybe spacing, we can reduce it a little bit. It's too much. Maybe 1.2 might do decently because it's a small text, so we cannot keep it much closer. So I have something like this. Okay, so we have in our portfolio, we have the logo, we have this text, and we have a section like this, right? Okay, now let's add some more elements into it. So what I want to do is this particular menu thing, I'm just going to delete it at this point, right? I don't need the menu to be like that. I want the menu to be in a different way. So before we create the menu, what we are going to do here is that I'm going to create the other pages, right? So we already know what are the pages that we want. So I'm just going to go to pages. I'm going to click add a new page, right? So it adds a new page. We'll call it works. We'll add another page and we will call it about. We'll create one more page and we will add it, call it contact. You don't need this many pages in a portfolio. I'm just showing you how this all thing is going to work, right? So we have all the pages created. We don't have any content in there, which is fine, right? So what we are going to do now is we are going to add a menu, right? So when you click on the add elements button, you can see something called menu, and I'm going to add this menu right there. So I'm just going to click on it. It'll come right here. I'm going to drag and drop it into the header. So it is going to be attached into the header right now. Okay. Now we're going to go to manage the menu. So you can see that currently in the menu, there is only one page because we haven't added other pages into it. So I'm going to click add a page, click on main pages. I'm going to select all the pages that we want to be displayed on the menu. Just click apply. Everything is right there. Okay, all the pages are right there. Just move it to the center of this website. Okay, like this. But again, the size is a little too big. So what you can do is you can just go to the layout here and you can reduce this, right? So the spacing of these buttons, maybe you can go to the padding, reduce the padding. Okay, so let's select this, go to the layout options here. We can change this. So you can come down here and you can see all the elements that you can adjust in this. Maybe we'll make it 300. Okay. Yeah, I think this is good enough, right? I don't want it to be too big. Now we have the menu working. So as I told you, right, when you're adding something to your header, it's going to be there in all the pages. So you can quickly go to any page in here and you can see that these stuff is already there and it's already mapped to works. So it changes that behavior accordingly, right? About, and then you have contact, right? So let's go back to the home page. So this is where we are at, right? We added a menu there as well. So now let's add a little more stuff into this. So I'm just going to go to down here, and here what I want to do is I need to add one more section, right? So this section is complete, but if you come here, you can add one more section into this, and I added a section here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add some images into it. Okay. So we already spoke about what is a design section. We already spoke about how to create grid layouts and divide it into different grids, or you can directly add an element here. So I'm going to click on add an element and you can add images directly into it. So I have one image right here. I'm just going to go and scale it up. Something like this. Make it something like this. So we have an image like this. You have some options here. You can create an AI image right from here. You can change some settings of it. How, what is the bounding box? What happens when you click on the text and all that. You can also create masks. So what I will try and do is I'll create a simple image mask in here and see how that works. I don't know. Maybe what if I make it rounded? No, maybe something like this or something like this. I don't know. Let's try that. Okay. So I have something like this here. I'm not using an original image. That is something which is already there in Wix. I'm going to take one more image. We'll keep it right here. Just make it a little vertical. Just move it. Here we have something like that. And this image, I'll change it to something else, another image, right? So you can upload images, but you can also go to these sources and you can take any image that you might like, right? So I'm going to take this image, update it. There is the update which just happened there. So for this also, let's change the mask. Okay, so something like this. I just want to show you how this is done. That's not really important. Okay. So we have this in our homepage, right? So nothing much. There is the name, there is a brief description, there is the cross-media design, the text, which is right there. And we have this footer data that we haven't edited. So I'm just going to change this to 2025 right? I think this is fine. So we have the copyright info as well. I don't need this to be that big. So I'm just going to change this to 9. So the home page is sort of done, right? We have pretty much all those things. And if you click preview, it looks like this, right? Everything looks pretty decent in here. The menu is not actually loading properly. This could be a rendering issue, but it will work when you're publishing it. It's okay. So, but the other thing that we haven't done yet is that we didn't actually make it to a what do you say, a responsive site yet, right? So we have to do this as well. When you select this, you can see this. So where you can click and you can generate a responsive section, and it will automatically adjust to all the other devices. If you don't do that, if you just switch to the other devices, okay, tablet actually looks decent, but I think the menu is slightly wrong, so you can adjust it manually here. Everything else looks good. If you go to mobile phone, okay, not that great. So what we can do here is you can change all the sections, right? So I'm just going to make it a little bigger. The images, maybe I can make it bigger. On the mobile phone screen, the images can be bigger like that. This text can be a little bigger again. So we can change that value to maybe 9. I can select this grid, move it so that they can see this clearly. This also, I can actually increase the size to 20. Okay, it works. Now this menu element in here, it doesn't work on a mobile phone screen, right? So what you can do is you can just right click this and you can hide it from the mobile view. So now it is not there in the mobile view, right? So we basically manually adjusted all of these elements. So we adjusted everything like this. Let's preview this quickly in mobile phone. Okay, this is how it looks like. And if they click on this menu, all this is going to come here automatically, right? So this is how we actually modified it for mobile phone, right? So let's go back and we can see all these, right? Now, if you come here, you can sort of see that this is the content breakpoint, right? So this is on the tablet breakpoint, this is the desktop, and this is the mobile phone. So if you click preview here, you can change this breakpoint, right? So if you drag, this is in desktop view, it changed to tablet. And if you keep dragging it, it changes to a mobile phone, right? So this is how you make a responsive design work. Now, if we go back to edit site, let's go back to the desktop view. The one thing that I was actually talking about is that if you select a section here, you can click on this tool and you can convert this using AI to responsive design. So you don't have to, whatever we did was we manually arranged everything. But when you actually do this, AI will design it for you. Might not work all the time at this point, but you can try this out. If that works, then it's good. So if I click generate now, it's going to generate a responsive design for all the devices. You can see how it is actually manipulating everything, the font sizes and all that stuff. And if you're happy with that, you can apply it, right? Sometimes it might not work because it is not looking at it on an aesthetic point of view. So this is how it looks like in the desktop. Uh, this is how it looks in tablet, and this is how it looks in the mobile phone, which is not ideal. I mean, we might have to go in and then change it a lot. Tablet looks decent, and desktop is fine. But I'm going to discard the changes because I didn't like how the mobile design was made, right? The mobile phone, right? So we manually adjusted everything. So responsive site is done. The home page is done. We haven't worked on anything else. I'll just quickly show you how to work on one more page here. So the links and everything is already done. So your job is very simple right now. You go to works, and this is where you are going to add your works, right? So what here you can actually try and do is you can again divide this into 2 sections. I'm going to divide this into 2, right? And move it to the side. And here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a small text. Let's go to Quick add a paragraph. Maybe this is going to talk something about, create AI text, design studio. Right. Okay, so, and create a text. It's going to think about that and it'll create text for you, which you can add to it. I'm just going to use this. If you are good at writing, you can write your own text that actually supports the gallery that goes in right here. I'm just going to change the text to 9. Okay, so I just want it to be like this, right? A little bit of information about, what are they going to see here. Now in this section, I want to add a gallery of my work. So I'm just going to go to Quick Add. I'm just going to go to, say if there is a gallery, click on that. The gallery is added. Okay, we have a gallery. Let me tell you how to do this. Okay, I want the gallery to be somewhat like this. Okay, so this is our gallery page. Now to add your own works, you just have to click Manage Media and then remove all the works that you have in here and then add the projects that you want to feature in here, right? So just select everything, delete them, add your own works, and that's going to be displayed in here. So you have a very quick gallery to feature, right? Now, let's say you want to sort of show, like if they click on, because that's how we actually planned it, right? If they click on a thumbnail, it should go to another project page. So what I'm going to do here is that we have to create one more page, right? So let's go to the pages, create one more page, and let's call it the project page, right? That particular project, let's say branding project 1, right? So when they click on it, it should be, going to this page, right? It's called branding project 1. So let's create that project page. So I'm just going to quickly add an image. Okay. This is the project and some text that actually talks about this, particular project, right? When they click on that particular image, it comes to this image. Imagine this, if this is what we have to show, right? So we have created that page. I'm just not going to edit anything. Let's go back to the workspace, right? This is what we built. So you want to sort of say that when they click on it, it should go right to a page. So what we are going to do is just click Manage Media, select this image. This is where you want them to actually go, right? Link. So select this, choose the page that you want people to go, and click Done. It's done, right? So when they click on it, it's going to go to that page. But before doing that, you need to do a slight bit of changing here. Click on the settings. Okay, when clicking on an item, it opens in expand mode is what it is saying right now, but we are changing this to a link opens, right? So we already added the link, so that's all done. Now let's quickly preview it, right? So we have the gallery, and if you click on that image, it opens the space that we created for that project, right? You can always go back to the previous home page or the works page. It's going to go to your work. When you click on that particular project, it goes to this page, right? So this is how the links work, right? I just wanted to give you that brief idea of how to actually create a portfolio website. Try to be original, try to actually use your own ideas when you're building it, try to use your own content when you're building your portfolio. And I hope this gives you a starting point to building your portfolio websites using Whip Studio. If you have any questions, comment, and I'll see you with another video soon. Thank you.